Hello, reading room. Look at that. We are just like snapping today. Be careful. Be careful. We might actually have a schedule and be on time on our schedule. What happened to my. There we go. My station. I need to see my station up here so I know what's going on. You know what I mean? All right. There we go. We are here in the reading room and we are reading Orphan Train. Journalists and comedians. That goes to Bookless classroom. Journalists and comedians is what I would raise. It is February 25th because you better have a sense of humor, huh? It is day 316 in the classroom, and you better have a sense of humor. We're about almost 3/4 of the way through, and probably 3/4 of the way through if there's anything back here at all. There's Christina Baker Kline. There's a picture of her and a little verbiage on her. So, well done, well done, well done. Hemingford, Minnesota, 1935 to 1939. I am 15 when Mrs. Nielsen finds a pack of cigarettes in my purse. It's clear when I walk into the kitchen that I've done something to displease her. She is quieter than usual, with an air of injured aggravation. I wonder if I'm imagining it. I try to remember if I said or did anything to upset her before I left for school. The pack of cigarettes, which my friend Judy Smith's boyfriend bought for her at the Esso station outside of town, and which she passed along to me, doesn't even register in my mind. After Mr. Nielsen comes in and we sit down to supper, Mrs. Nielsen slides the pack of Lucky Strikes towards me across the table. I was looking for my green gloves and thought you might have borrowed them, she says. I found this instead. I look at her, then at Mr. Nielsen, who lifts his fork and knife and begins cutting his pork chop into small pieces. I only smoked one to try it, I say, though they can clearly see that the pack is half empty. Where'd you get it? Mrs. Nielsen asks. I am tempted to tell them it was Judy's boyfriend Douglas, but realize it will only be worse to drag other people in. It was an experiment. I didn't like it. They made me cough. She raises her eyebrows at Mr. Nielsen and can tell they've already decided on a punishment. The only thing they can really take away is my weekly Sunday afternoon trip to the picture show with Judy. So for the next 2 weeks, I stay home instead and endure their silent reprobation. Reprobation? After this, I decide that the cost of upsetting them is too much. I don't climb out of my bed window and down the drain pipe like Judy. I go to school and work in the store and help with dinner and do my homework and go to bed. I go out with boys now and then, always on a double date or in groups. One boy in particular, Ronnie King, is sweet on me and gives me a promise ring, but I am so worried I might do something to disappoint the Nielsens that I avoid any situation that might lead to impropriety. Once, after a date, Ronnie tries to kiss me goodnight. His lips brush mine, and I pull back quickly. Soon after that, I give back his ring. I never lose the fear that any day Mr. Sorensen could be on the doorstep telling me that the Nielsens have decided I'm too expensive, too much trouble, or merely a disappointment, and they've decided to let me go. In my nightmares, I am alone on a train heading into the wilderness, or in a maze of hay bales, or walking the streets in a big city, gazing at lights in every window, seeing the families inside. None of them mine. One day I overhear a man at the counter talking to Mrs. Nielsen. My wife sent me in here to get some things for a basket our church is putting together for a boy who came on that orphan train. He says, remember those? Used to come through a while ago with all those homeless waifs. I went to George Hall in Albans once to see him. Pitiful lot. Anyhow, this kid had one misfortune after another. Got beat up pretty bad by the farmer who took him in, and now the elderly lady he went to after that has died, and he's on his own again. It's a scandal sending those poor kids out here on their own, expecting folks to take care of them, as if we don't have our own burdens. Mrs. Nielsen says, non-committally. I move closer, wondering if he might be talking about Dutchie, but then I realize Dutchie is 18 now, old enough to be on his own. I am nearly 16 when I look around the store and realize that it has barely changed in all the time I've been here, and there are things we can do to make it nicer. A lot of things. First, after consulting Mr. Nielsen, I moved the magazines to the front near the cash register. The shampoos and lotions and balms that used to be at the back of this store, I shift to the shelves near the pharmacy so that people filling prescriptions can also buy plasters and ointments. The women's section is woefully understocked, understandable given Mr. Nielsen's general ignorance and Mrs. Nielsen's lack of interest. She does wear an occasional coat of lipstick, though it always seems to have been randomly chosen and hurriedly applied. Remembering the long discussions about stockings and garters and makeup rituals at Mrs. Murphy's, I suggest that we increase and expand this section, purchasing, for example, a hosiery carousel with seamed and unseamed stockings from one of the vendors and advertise it in the paper. The Nielsens are skeptical, but in the first week we go through our entire stock. The following week, Mr. Nielsen doubles the order, recalling what Fanny said about ladies wanting to feel pretty even when they don't have much money. I convinced Mr. Nielsen to order small, inexpensive items, sparkling costume jewelry, and gloves made of cotton velvet. Bakelite wrist bangles. So those are those hard plastic bangles, right? That you used to be able to make. What happened to Bakelite? Oh, well, we said regulation number. That was like Desi. You should have seen it. She was hysterical. She's always hysterical. She is. It is reminding me of Marissa. There are several girls I watch avidly at school, a grade or two above me, whose well-to-do parents take them to the Twin Cities to buy clothes. I notice what they wear and what they eat, what music they listen to, the cars they dream about, and the movie stars they follow. And like a magpie, I bring these scraps and twigs back to the store. One of these girls will wear a new color or style of belt or a button plate hat tilted to one side, and that afternoon I'll pour through our vendors' catalogs to find similar designs. I choose mannequins out of a catalog that look like these girls with pencil-thin eyebrows and rosebud lips and soft wavy hairstyles and dress them in the latest styles and colors. I find out the perfumes they favor, like Bluegrass by Elizabeth Arden, and we stock those as well as standard ladies' favorites such as Joy by Jean Pateau and Vol de Nuit by Guerlain. That's all I got, folks. As business grows, we push the shelves closer together, erect special displays at the ends of the aisles, crowd the crowd the lotions. When the shop next door, jewelers called Riches, goes out of business, I convinced Mr. Nielsen to remodel and expand. Inventory will be in the basement instead of in the back, and the store will be organized into departments. We keep prices low and lower them even more with sales every week and coupons in the paper. We institute a layaway plan so people can buy more expensive items in installments, and we pay in a soda fountain as a place people can linger. And we put it in a soda fountain as a place people can linger. Before long, the store is thriving. It seems as though we are the only business doing well in this terrible economy. How about that, right? How about that? And the thing about layaway plans is this. There's like people who are, always getting back at somebody going, I shouldn't have to, whatever it is. And then the layaway plan is gone, and that's what happened. At Kmart, people wouldn't pay their layaway plans. They took it off the floor. It had to be reduced. All kinds of things that were really unfortunate when people didn't pay such a minimum amount. Layaway was a beauty. It was a beauty. But when your society is reeking with criminal behavior and justices that are not examples for the people or for justice. What did we say over there? Somebody said about justice. Oh, in Bookless classroom. And yeah, we're going to stop because I know exactly where it is. It's the last line. How can we ever become a great nation unless we treat the people with justice? And that's thanks to you motherfucking lawyers who then became our justices and screwed up all of our priorities. Like you're some kind of upper echelon or something, then owning property up the wazoo. Greedy bastards. Anyway, see the Bookless classroom, which was really quite sedate. But that is amazing. That's amazing thinking about that. What that is meritocracy, America, a meritocracy, whatever. You get what I'm saying. In full blossom, not capitalism, a meritocracy. Get it? Do you get it? Did you know your eyes are your best feature? Tom Price tells me in math class senior year, leaning across my desk to look at them. First one, then the other. Brown, green, even a little gold in there. I've never seen so many colors in a pair of eyes. I squirm under his gaze, but when I get home that afternoon, I lean in close to the bathroom mirror and stare at my eyes for a long time. My hair isn't as brassy as it used to be. Over the years, it has turned a deep russet, the color of dead leaves. I've had it cut in the fashionable style, fashionable for our town at least, right above my shoulders. And when I begin to wear makeup, I have a revelation. I viewed my life until now as a series of unrelated adaptations, from Irish Neve to American Dorothy to the reincarnated Vivian. Each identity has been projected onto me and fits oddly at first, like a pair of shoes you have to break in before they're comfortable. But with red lipstick, I can fashion a whole new and temporary persona. I can determine my own next incarnation. I attend the homecoming dance with Tom. He shows up at the door with a wrist corsage, a fat white carnation, and 2 tiny roses. I've sewn my own dress, a pink chiffon version of one Ginger Rogers wore in swing time, and Mrs. Nielsen loans me her pearl necklace and matching earrings. Now this is reminding me of Julie from United Way, as if she told me this story. Tom is affable and good-natured right up until the moment the whiskey he's tippling from a flask in the pocket of his father's too big suit coat makes him drunk. Then he gets into a scuffle with another senior on the dance floor and manages to get himself and me ejected from the dance. The next Monday, my 12th grade English teacher, Mrs. Fry, takes me aside after class. "Why are you wasting time with a boy like that?" she scolds. She urges me to apply to colleges out of state. Smith College in Massachusetts, for one, her alma mater. "You'll have a bigger life," she says. "Don't you want that, Vivian?" But though I'm flattered by her interest, I know I'll never go that far. I can't leave the Nielsens, who have come to depend on me for so much. Besides, Tom Price, notwithstanding the life I'm living, is big enough for me. As soon as I graduate, I begin to manage the store. I find that I'm suited to the task and that I enjoy it. I'm taking a class in accounting and business administration at St. Olaf College, but it only meets twice a week. I hire the workers, 9 in all now, and order much of the merchandise. At night, with Mr. Nielsen, I go over the ledgers. Together, we manage employees' problems, placate customers, massage vendors. I'm constantly angling for the best price, the most attractive bundle of goods, the newest option. Nielsen's is the first place in the country to carry upright electric vacuum cleaners, blenders, freeze-dried coffee. We've never been busier. Girls from my graduating class come into the store brandishing solitary diamonds like Legion of Honor medals as if they've accomplished something significant, which I guess they think they have though all I can see is a future of washing some man's clothes stretching ahead of them. I want nothing to do with marriage. Mrs. Nielsen agrees. You're young. There will be time for that, she says. Sorry for that little. Spruce Harbor, Maine, 2011. Buying all these fancy vegetables is eating up my whole salary, Dina grumbles. I don't know if we can keep doing this. Dina's talking about a stir fry that Molly has thrown together for the 3 of them after returning from the library in Bahaba. Tofu, red and green peppers, black beans, and zucchini. Molly has been cooking quite a bit lately, reasoning that if Dina tries some dishes that don't have animal protein front and center, she'll see how many more options are available. So in the past week, Molly has made cheese and mushroom quesadillas, vegetarian chili, and eggplant lasagna. Still, Dina complains. It's not filling enough. It's weird. She'd never tried eggplant in her life before Molly roasted one in the oven, and now she complains that it costs too much. I don't think it's that much more, Ralph says. Plus the extra costs in general, Dina says under her breath. Let it go, Molly tells herself, but fuck it. Wait a minute. You get paid for having me, right? Dina looks up in a surprise. Her fork in midair. Ralph raises his eyebrows. I don't know what that has to do with anything, Dina says. Doesn't that money cover the cost of having an extra person? Molly asks. More than covers it, right? Honestly, isn't that the reason you took me in? Dina stands abruptly. Are you kidding me? She turns to Ralph. Is she really talking to me like this? Now you too, Ralph begins with a tremulous smile. It's not us two. Don't you dare group me with her, Dina says. Well, okay, let's just... No, Ralph, I've had it. Community service my ass. If you ask me, this girl should be in juvie right now. She's a thief, plain and simple. She steals from the library. Who knows what she steals from us or from that old lady? Dina marches over to Molly's bedroom, opens the door, and disappears inside. Hey, Molly says, getting up. A moment later, Dina emerges with the book in her hand. She holds it up like a protest sign. Anne of Green Gables. Where'd you get this? She demands. You can't just... Where'd you get this book? Molly sits back in her chair. Vivian gave it to me. Like hell. Dina flips it up. jabs her finger at the inside cover. Says right here it belongs to Dorothy Power. Who's that? Molly turns to Ralph and says slowly, I did not steal that book. Yeah, I'm sure she just borrowed it. Dina points a long peaked talon at her. Listen, young lady, we have had nothing but trouble since you came into this house, and I am so over it. I mean it. I am so over it. She stands with her legs apart, breathing shallowly, tossing her blonde, frosted mane like a nervous pony. Okay, Dina, look. Ralph has his hands out, patting the air like a conductor. Can we just take a deep breath and calm down? Are you fucking kidding me? Dina practically spits. Ralph looks at Molly, and in his expression, she sees something new. He looks weary. He looks over it. I want her out, Dina. Dina says. Dean, out. Later that evening, Ralph knocks on Molly's bedroom door. Hey, what are you doing? He says, looking around. The LL Bean duffel bags are splayed wide, and Molly's small collection of books, including Anne of Green Gables, is piled on the floor, stuffed socks into a plastic Food Mart bag. Molly says, what does it look like I'm doing? She's not usually rude to Ralph, but now she figures, who cares? He wasn't exactly watching her back out there. You can't leave yet. You have to contact social services and all that. It'll be a couple of days probably. Molly crams the bag of socks into one end and a duffel, rounding it nicely. Then she starts lining up shoes and Doc Martens she picked up at a Salvation Army store, black flip-flops, a dog-chewed pair of Birkenstocks that a previous foster mother tossed in the trash and Molly rescued, a black Walmart sneakers. They'll find you someplace better suited, Ralph says. She looks up at him and brushes the bangs out of her eyes. Oh yeah? I won't hold my breath. Come on, Mal, give me a break. You give me a break and don't call me Mal. It's all she can do to restrain herself from flying at his face with her claws out like a feral cat. Fuck him and the bitch he rode in on. She's too old for this, too old to wait around to be played with another foster family. Too old to switch schools, move to a new town, submit herself to yet another foster parent's whims. She is so white-hot furious she can barely see. She strokes the fire of her hatred, feeling it tidbits about bigoted idiots Dina and spineless mushmouth. All right. She is so white-hot furious she can barely see. She stokes the fire of her hatred, feeding it tidbits about bigoted idiot Dina and spineless mushmouth Ralph, because she knows that just beyond the rage is a sorrow so enervating, it could render her immobile. She needs to keep moving, flickering around the room. She needs to fill her bags and get the hell out of here. Ralph hovers uncertain. As always, she knows he's caught between her and Dina and utterly unequipped to handle either of them. She almost feels sorry for him. The pusillanimous wretch. Okay, so making up a word there, and you kind of get the connotation, and I'm not saying it right. I have somewhere to go, so don't worry about it, she says. To Jack's, you mean? Maybe. Actually, no. She could no more go to Jack's than she could get a room at the Bar Harbor Inn. Yes, I prefer Waterview and send up a mango smoothie. Thanks. Things between them are still strained, but even if they were fine, Terry would never allow her to stay overnight. Ralph sighs. Well, I get why you don't want to stay here. She gives him a look. No shit, Sherlock. Let me know if I can drive you anyplace. I'll be fine, she says, dropping a pile of black t-shirts in the bag and standing there with folded arms until he slinks out. So where the hell can she go? There's $213 left in Molly's savings account from the minimum wage job she had last summer, scooping ice cream in Bar Harbor. She could take a bus to Bangor or Portland or maybe even Boston. But what then? She wonders, not for the first time, about her mother. Maybe she's better. Maybe she's clean and sober now with some kind of steady job. Molly's always resisted the urge to look for her, dreading what she might find, but desperate times, and who knows, the state loves it when biological parents get their shit together. This could be an opportunity for both of them. Before she can change her mind, she crawls over to her sleeping laptop, propped open on her bed, and taps the keyboard to nudge it awake. She Googles Donna Iyer, Maine. The first listing is an invitation to view Donna Iyer's professional profile on LinkedIn. Unlikely. Next is a PDF at Yarmouth City Council members that includes a Donna Iyer. Even more unlikely. Third down is a wedding announcement. A Donna Hazley, married to Rob Iyer, an Air Force pilot in Mattawa, all right, let me try this. Mattawamkeag in March. No. And finally, here she is, Molly's mother, and a small item in the Bangor Daily News. Clicking through to the article, Molly finds herself staring at her mother's mugshot. There's no question it's her, though she's wan, squinty, and decidedly worse for the wear. Arrested 3 months ago for stealing OxyContin from a pharmacy in Old Town with a guy named Dwayne Bordick, 23. Era is being held in lieu of bond, the article says, at the Penobscot County Jail in Bangor. Well, that was easy enough. Can't go there. What now? Looking up homeless shelters online, Molly finds one in Ellsworth, but it says that patrons have to be 18 or older unless with the parent. The Seacoast Mission in Bar Harbor has a food pantry, though no overnight accommodations. So what about Vivian? That house has 14 rooms. Vivian lives in about 3 of them. She's almost certainly home. After all, she never goes anywhere. Molly glances at the time on her phone, 6:45 p.m. That's not too late to call her, is it? But now that she thinks about it, she's never actually seen Vivian talking on the phone. Maybe it would be better to take the Island Explorer over there to talk with her in person. And if she says no, well, maybe Molly could just sleep in her garage tonight. Tomorrow night, with a clear head, she'll figure out what to do. Spruce Harbor, Maine, 2011. Molly trudges up the road toward Vivian's from the bus stop, her laptop in her backpack, Red Braden slung over one shoulder and Hawaiian Ashley on the other. The Duffels are knocking into each other like rowdy patrons at a bar with Molly stuck between. It's slow going. Before the blow up with Dina, Molly had planned to go to Vivian's tomorrow to tell her what she found at the library. Well, plans change. Leaving was anticlimactic. Dina stayed behind her, shut bedroom door with the TV blaring, while Ralph lamely offered to help Molly with their bags, loan her a 20, drive her somewhere. Molly almost said thank you, almost gave him a hug, but in the end, she just barked, "No, I'm fine, see ya," and propelled herself forward by thinking, "This is already over. I am already gone." Occasionally a car lumbers past, this being the off-season. Most cars on the road are sensible Subarus, 10-ton trucks, or clunkers. Molly is wearing her heavy winter coat because though it's May, this is, after all, Maine, and who knows, she might end up sleeping in it. She left behind heaps of stuff for Ralph and Dina to deal with, including a few hideous synthetic sweaters Dina had tossed her way at Christmas. Good riddance. Molly counts her steps, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. Her left shoulder hurts, strap digging into bone. She jumps in place, shifting the strap. Now it's sliding down. Shit. Jump again. She's a turtle carrying a shell. Jane Eyre staggering across the heath. A Pinosco under the weight of a canoe. Of course, her load is heavy. These bags contain everything she possesses in the world. What do you carry with you? What do you leave behind? Gazing ahead in the dark blue sky, striated with clouds, Molly reaches up and touches the charms around her neck. Raven, bear, fish. The turtle on her hip. She doesn't need much. And even if she loses the charm, she thinks, they'll always be a part of her. The things that matter stay with you, seep into your skin. People get tattoos to have a permanent reminder of things they love or believe or fear. But though she'll never regret the turtle, she has no need to ink her flesh again to remember the past. She had not known the markings would be etched so deep. Approaching Vivian's house, Molly looks at her phone. It's later than she thought it would be, 8:54. The fluorescent overhead bulb on the porch gives off a dim pink light. The rest of the house is dark. Molly leaves her bags on the porch, rubs her shoulders for a minute, then walks around to the back, the bay side, peering up the windows for any sign of life. And there it is on the second floor of the far right side. 2 windows glow. Vivian's bedroom. Molly isn't sure what to do. She doesn't want to scare Vivian, and now that she's here, she realizes that even ringing the doorbell would startle her at this hour. So she decides to call. Gazing up at Vivian's window, she dials her number. Hello, who is it? Vivian answers after 4 rings in a strained, too loud voice, as if communicating with someone far out at the sea. Hi, Vivian, it's Molly. Molly, is that you? Yes, she says, her voice cracking. She takes a deep breath. Steady, stay calm. I'm sorry to bother you. Vivian comes into view in the window, pulling a burgundy robe over her nightgown. What's the matter? Are you all right? Yes, Goodness, do you know what hour it is? Vivian says, fussing with the cord. I'm so sorry to call this late. I didn't know what else to do. There's silence on the other end as Vivian absorbs this. Where are you? She says finally, perching on the arm of a chair. I'm downstairs. Outside, I mean. I was afraid it would alarm you if I rang the bell. You're where? Here. I'm here at your house. Here? Now? Vivian stands up. I'm sorry, and then Molly can't help it. She starts to cry. It's cold on the grass, and her shoulders ache, and Vivian is freaked out, and the Island Explorer is done for the night, and the garage is dark and creepy, and there's nowhere else in the world she can think of to go. Don't cry, dear, don't cry. I'll be right down. Okay, Molly heaves in a breath. Pull yourself together. I'm hanging up now. Okay, through her tears, Molly watches Vivian replace the receiver on the hook, wraps her robe tighter and tie it, pat the silver hair at the nape of her neck, and Vivian leaves the bedroom. As Vivian leaves the bedroom, Molly runs back to the front porch. She shakes her head to clear it, pulls her bangs into a heap, wipes her eyes and nose with the corner of her t-shirt. A moment later, Vivian opens the door. She looks with alarm from Molly, who realizes that despite wiping her nose, she must have mascara smeared all over her face, to the bulky duffel bags, to the overstuffed backpack. For goodness sake, come in, she says, holding the door wide. Come in this minute and tell me what happened. Despite Molly's protests, Vivian insists on making tea. She takes down a cabbage rose teapot and cups. a wedding gift from Mrs. Murphy that's been in a box for decades, along with some recently recovered spoons from Mrs. Nielsen's silver service. They wait in the kitchen for the water to boil, and then Molly pours water in the teapot and carries the tea service into the living room on a tray with some cheese and crackers Vivian has found in the pantry. Vivian turns on 2 lamps and settles Molly in a wingback. Then she goes over to the closet and takes out a quilt. The wedding ring, Molly says. Vivian holds the quilt by 2 corners and shakes it out, then carries it over and drapes it across Molly's lap. It is stained and rippled in places, thinned from use. Many of the small rectangles of fabric sewn by hand into interlocking circles have dissolved altogether, the ghostly remains of stitches holding snippets of colored cloth. If I can't bear to give this stuff away, I might as well use it. As Vivian tucks the quilt around her legs, Molly says, "Sorry for hanging in like this, for barging in like this." Vivian flaps her hand. "Don't be silly. I could use the excitement. Gets my heart rate up." "I'm not sure that's a good thing." The news about Macy sits in Molly's stomach like a stone. She doesn't want to spring it on Vivian just yet. Too many surprises at once. After Vivian has poured tea in 2 cups, handed one to Molly, taken one for herself, added and stirred in 2 lumps of sugar, and arranged the cheese and crackers on the plate, she settles into the other chair and folds her hands on her lap. "All right," she says, "now tell me." So Molly talks. She tells Vivian about living in the trailer on Indian Island, the car crash that killed her father, her mother's struggle with drugs. She shows her Shelley the turtle. She tells her about the dozen foster homes and the nose ring and the argument with Dina and finding out on the internet that her mother's in jail. The tea grows tepid, then cold in the cups. And then, because she is determined to be completely honest, Molly takes a deep breath and says, "There's something I should have told you a long time ago. The community service requirement wasn't for school. It was because I stole a book from the Spruce Harbor Library." Vivian pulls her burgundy fleece robe tighter around her. "I see. It was a stupid thing to do. What book was it?" "Jane Eyre." "Why did you steal it?" Molly thinks back to that moment, pulling each copy of the novel off the shelf, turning them over in her hands, returning the hardcover and the new paperback, tucking the other one under her shirt. "Well, it's my favorite book. And there were 3 copies. I thought nobody would miss the crappiest one." She shrugs. "I just wanted to own it." Vivian taps her bottom lip with her thumb. "Terry knew?" Molly shrugs. She doesn't want to get Terry in trouble. "Jack vouched for me, and you know how she feels about Jack." "That I do." The night is still quiet except for their voices. The drapes are shut against the dark. "I'm sorry I came into your house this way, under false pretense," Molly says. "Ah, well," Vivian says, "I suppose we all come under false pretenses one way or another, don't we? It was best not to tell me. I probably wouldn't have let you in." Clasping her hands together, she says, "If you're going to steal a book, though, you should at least take the nicest one. Otherwise, what's the point?" Molly is so nervous she barely smiles, but Vivian does. "Stealing Jane Eyre," she laughs. "That should have given you a gold star, bumped you up a grade. You're not disappointed in me?" Vivian lifts her shoulders. Really, relief washes over her. "You've certainly paid your dues in any case, putting in all those hours with me. It hasn't felt like punishment. Once upon a time, fairly recently in fact, Molly would have gagged on these words, both because they're blatantly sycophantic and cringingly sentimental, but not today. For one thing, she means them. For another, she's so focused on the next part of the story that she can barely think of anything else. She plunges ahead. Listen, Vivian, she says, there's something else I need to tell you. Oh, Lord, Vivian says, there's something else I need to tell you. Oh, Lord, Oh, Lord, there's something I need to... All right, she plunges ahead. Listen, Vivian, she says, there's something else I need to tell you. Oh, Lord, Vivian takes a sip of cold tea and sets her cup down. What have you done now? I thought Vivian was like, I've got something to tell you. I was like, what? Molly takes a deep breath. It's not about me. It's about Macy. Vivian gazes at her steadily, her hazel eyes clear and unblinking. I went online. I just wanted to see if I could uncover anything. It was surprisingly easy. I found records from Ellis Island. The Agnes Pauline? Yeah, exactly. I found your parents' names on the roster, and from there I got the death notices of your father and brothers, but not hers, not Macy's. And then I had an idea to try to find the Scatsmans. Well, there happened to be a family reunion blog, and anyway, it said that they adopted a baby, Margaret, in 1929. Vivian is perfectly still. Margaret? Molly nods. Macy. It has to be right, but he told me she didn't make it. I know. Vivian seems to gather herself to grow taller in her chair. He lied to me. For a moment, she looks off in the middle distance, somewhere above the bookcase. Then she says, and they adopted her? Apparently so. I don't know anything else about them, though. I'm sure there are ways to find out. But she lived a long time in upstate New York. She only died 6 months ago. There's a photo. She seemed really happy. Children and grandchildren and all that. God, I'm an idiot, Molly thinks. Why did I say that? How do you know she died? There's an obituary. I'll show you. And do you want to see the photo? Without waiting for an answer, Molly gets up and retrieves her laptop from her backpack. She turns it on and brings it over to where Vivian is sitting. She opens the family reunion photos and the obituary saved on her desktop and places the laptop in Vivian's lap. Vivian peers at the picture on the screen. That's her. Looking up at Molly, she says, I can tell by the eyes. They're exactly the same. She looks like you, Molly says, and they both stare silently for a moment at the beaming elderly woman with sharp blue eyes surrounded by her family. Vivian reaches out and touches the screen. Look at how white her hair is. It used to be blonde. Ringlets. She twirls her index finger next to her own silver head. All these years she was alive, she murmurs. Macy was alive. All these years, and I never even knew it. Okay, well, now we for sure are 3/4 of the way through our book, Orphan Train. And I made it through without crying today. It wasn't too heart-wrenching. But boy, oh boy, what a story. What a story. It weaves in and out with, I don't know, my memories, but maybe all of our memories, doesn't it? Right? Weave in and out. So this is Dr. Annette Feravich. Thanks so much for joining me here in the classroom where we are reading Orphan Train. We are on day 11, and this is one other way where we are here. We as in me. What the hell does she keep saying we for? Well, I have people who are watching. We have a growing audience, 1 million or so. I don't even know what it's up to right now. I don't keep track of that part of the poll. Where we are always working to bring you, even through stories, a healthier mind, a healthier body, and a healthier spirit. Thanks for joining me. She has to look down.